Stephen A., go to a night game at Lambeau Field, please. Go experience that. You need to go to a night game
Hell
at
no.
Lambeau Field in November, December.
It's too cold.
You can't sit here and say
no.
cannot sit here and say you love sports until you do that. Take my word for it.
Molly,
Take my word for it.
tell that man how I am about cold weather.
Max,
tell that man how I am
He's
about
soft.
cold weather.
put on some warm clothes. Put on
You
some
would
warm
think he-
clothes and
you-
stop
he-
being
Come on,
soft.
First
I saw
of
you got
all-
the full-length goose, Stephen A. You found
He
it.
thinks he's a meteorologist. Let's get that straight.
Here you go.
Stephen A.
go.
finally
Soft,
found his
Stephen A.
full-length
All right,
goose.
Max.
Take it to Lambeau, Stephen A. You'd be fine.
No.
Max, you mentioned the article in The Athletic by Bob McGinn. I have not read that, but I want to touch on the fact that he reports that this was Matt Lafleur's driving, and he's fed up with Aaron Rodgers. I know Matt Lafleur, and I know him really well. I would be shocked if Matt Lafleur is trying to drive Aaron Rodgers out of the building as quickly as possible. This is a guy that, in many reasons, got that job because Aaron Rodgers 2 years ago hinted while playing on the road against San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan, I want to play in an offense like that. That looks to be like it's a fun offense to play in for a quarterback. And so they attached the dots from Kyle Shanahan to Matt Lafleur. And so I'd be very surprised if that was the case. The reason why I think it's likely to end ugly, we don't have any evidence that when a superstar quarterback is put into this kind of situation, it doesn't end ugly. Now, people might say New England and Tom Brady. The only caveat with that one is they won 6 championships, right? But Montana and Steve Young, that ended ugly, and their ages were very similar. If you look at Favre and Aaron Rodgers,
Brett Favre
that
and the
ended
Packers.
ugly because it
Favre
became
and Rodgers.
enough is enough. Yeah, enough is enough. They pushed him out the door. The whispers became loud. Now, here's the thing. If the Packers are playing well and the Packers are winning football games, that will cover over a lot of this stuff. Now, if the Packers are struggling and they're not winning football games and Jordan Love is ripping it up in practice, the whispers will start. And then it becomes a very loud situation for that organization to handle. Hang on. That becomes a very loud situation for that organization to handle. And the way I look at it is this. Stephen A. talks about how great Aaron Rodgers has historically been. And I'm in the Stephen A. camp when it comes to that. I think he's still very good. But the numbers say he isn't. The numbers say he's become an average quarterback. I would argue that the tape says the people around him have become very average. So if he's not having the success that he wants, and that team is struggling, this is what's going to happen. Aaron Rodgers is going to go, it's not me, guys. It's you. You failed to surround me with the right people. It's going to be the same situation in New England. Kind of put Tom Brady in this past year, and that's why I think this gets ugly.
Hold on.
Max, I'll give you the last word.
Sure.
I'll give you the last word, Max. I just want to throw this question out to the both of y'all, and I'll leave it alone. If Aaron Rodgers had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, if he had those guys, what would he look like? Floor's y'all's.
Right. Rodgers was the original
man.
Mahomes. He was the original Mahomes. He was better than everyone else, the way Mahomes is now better than everyone else. But this is my question for you, Dan. We see other sports like in baseball, the crafty left-hander, Bill James pointed this out years ago, who everyone thinks is going to age well, actually doesn't. Because he's already where other players evolve to towards the end of their career. When he loses a little more off his fastball, he's done, right? So that's the way it goes in a sport like that. In a sport like boxing, so in other words, the flamethrower, the more athletic guy, does better long term. In boxing, the super athlete guy a lot of times doesn't develop the base of skills that the more technical guy has to because he's not so athletic. He doesn't age as well. In football, how would you say it goes for quarterbacks? Rodgers is super talented, does not have to throw off the same platforms as everyone else, right? Probably isn't as technically good as some who are not as talented. Does that mean he ages well or poorly compared to these quarterbacks we see like Brady and Breeze playing into their 40s?
That's a great question. I'd say ages well. And the big kind of case study is Tom Brady. And I try to get people to understand this about Brady. It's not like Brady started to treat his body this way and diet this way and eat this way in his arm at like 32. He's been doing this since like he was 21 years old. So he has two decades where he really started to slow down the aging process and the talent decreasing process. And that Aaron Rodgers has been outspoken. he's been outspoken that that's how he's really started to treat his body over the last 6-7 years. It's a very similar way that Tom Brady has in training with Tom House, the renowned shoulder specialist. And so the talent drop-off or father time or whatever we want to call it, it is going to be extended. That decline is going to be flatten the curve, so to speak. It's going to be the time that it's going to take for that to happen will be extended. And that's why I say the tape doesn't match what some people's perspective of Aaron Rodgers is. I would actually argue that Aaron Rodgers is in many ways a phenomenal technician. It just looks a little different. He is a big believer in finding force through the ground and body turn and all those things. And so that's why I think if Aaron Rodgers isn't getting the recognition nationally and he listens, this guy is calculated. I was drafted the same year as him in the same division. We played a ton of games together. He's smart. If he's not playing the way that he expects to play numbers and production-wise, and he's being honest with himself and looking in the mirror, which he will, he's going to point the finger.
We heard you, Dan. We heard you. Molly, are you ready for this? Breaking news on First Take.
I'm ready. Yeah.
I would go to Lambeau Field if Aaron Rodgers asked me to come. Then I would go. I would do it. That's the only condition. That is the only thing that can get me to Green Bay.
Invite from the most talented quarterback of all time. Of course you do, Hollywood.
That's my man. That's my man. That's my man. If Aaron Rodgers says, Stephen A., I need you to come to the frozen tundra for me, I would come for Aaron Rodgers. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.